Thought I'd do a quick video this morning. I, in the last week or so, I ran across some pretty cool stuff. As y'all know, with my back injury, I've been searching for pain control for it'll be 8 years in August now. I'm in the garage, so I can do that. But yeah, I've been looking. Anything, I'll take it. I'm trying to reduce this pain every day. But I said I've been looking. Right, I've topped in everything: chronic pain relief, back pain relief, spinal pain relief. Anything you can imagine. And I've run across a lot of stuff, but I had never run across this dude. And I ran across this dude. It's Dr. Jack Cruz, and it was crazy. He's a neurosurgeon out of Nashville that at one point in his life, just quick synopsis, was a 350-pound, miserable slob. And he says one day, he says they were in Italy, and they were looking at the statue of David, and he was like, "Oh God, that's the difference in me and him." And this guy's pretty close to genius status. He says his thought process went to everything: his diet, his water that he drank, everything was different. That's why he was chiseled and cut so lean. So this dude says he goes on a journey. He got to figure out what's going on. He's got to be able to lose weight, and he's got to do something. And he started doing deep dives into stuff, and the dude came out the other end with some pretty amazing results so far that I've seen, if they're true, their accounts, that he figured out, along with, we all know about Tesla and the things he was doing. And how Tesla said, if you're going to understand the universe, you got to understand electricity. You got to understand that stuff. So this guy's come down to a couple of things for good health: sun gazing every morning. He said the early morning UV radiation that goes into our eyes and into our skin kickstarts our melatonin release, and which melatonin gives our mitochondria good health in our cells. And so it was pretty fascinating stuff. I mean, I sit and listen to a 3-hour long talk between him and another doctor, and this dude went all the way down molecular and how each component, pushes another one. If you have phosphoric acid and then you get chlorine and you get these things, so all these things make reactions. But this guy's figured out a lot of shit. And the mainstream, boy, I've been searching for 8 years and hadn't run across him. And now all of a sudden, finally, there's something, and he's been doing this over 20 years. He's been doing it over 20 years and getting better all the time and learning more all the time. He says that he has cured everything from MS to esophageal varices to skin conditions, obesity, diabetes, all that. And what's funny about him is he's a regular guy. He says his mainstream medicine, it's all horseshit. Stuff they give you, it's horseshit. Ain't none of it worth taking. It's crazy. Don't do it. And he says, and forever they've been telling you this diet, this and that, no saturated fats, no yada da da da. And he says, it's wrong. It's wrong. Think about in nature. But up until processed foods came along, what they eat? What they eat? Everything was natural. Everything. There was no processing, no byproducts, nothing. All perfectly natural. And then it happened. The devil was loosed and everything was destroyed. Now they've been poisoning us for as long as they had the ability. He went into the whole deal about, Standard Oil and Rockefellers and their use of fluoride, and how that all went down. And he's like, man, the poisons that they put in us, and all in the name of profit. That's the scary thing. It's all in the name of profit. And if you're wondering why my lot looks the way it does, that was one of the main things he said. First thing in the morning when you wake up and the sun isn't up yet, you shouldn't turn on your regular lights and bombard yourself with blue light. He says you ought to use red light. And of course, I had a bunch of grow lights, some UVs, so I just slapped one up. And I was like, why not, man? I need pain relief. I'll do whatever. And so the guy makes a lot of claims in his talks about. He says he did spine surgery on a guy without anesthesia. He said he let a guy do liposuction when he was fat. He went and got liposuction, he said, and he said he let him do it without anesthesia. 12 incisions. I think he said 4 to 5 hours, something like that, with no anesthesia. And post-op, he said no pain medicine. He just used cryotherapy, cold plunges and laying on a freezer, a frozen blanket type of deal that he invented here. Well, I don't think he invented it. We've had forms of them in surgery before, to help cool down or warm up. But that was their post-op pain control, was cold. And he says he did great. He did great. Said his patients he did surgery on with no anesthesia and no pain medicine did great. So I don't know. And the thing is there's no, it's not hard. You just got to get up in the morning, sun up, get you some of that early morning light, hands and knees, reconnect with the earth. That's guys, it's pretty cool. I don't know why my algorithm's been hiding him for so long. You'd think in one of the first searches I did, because that's one of his things, is he says, I'm out here curing chronic pain. That's what I'm interested in, is this chronic pain people are in from our modern diets and our crippling society. But we all know that they've lied, that they've hidden stuff from us, they've manipulated, they have killed in the name of profit, and they continue to. And the only people that can change it is each individual. You just got to say no to the modern medicine. I got an appointment Monday with my neurologist, and you think I ain't gonna weigh into him? You think I ain't gonna weigh into that dude about, do you even care about your patients? Do you even try anything new? Do you even listen to anything outside your mainstream bubble here that just tells you, give them this pill? The algorithm does the calculations and says your best bet's probably give them this pill. Do you even know who this doctor is? He's a neurosurgeon out of Nashville, Tennessee. Very famous man. You don't know him? Never heard of him? Don't you even try? You just, you're just doing the bare fucking minimum for your patients. When I show up here, you don't know who I am. You don't care. You don't care. Every time I go to see these people, they're like, "Oh, so how's it going?" I'm fine. I don't know why I'm here. I wish you'd just refill my seizure medication and not make me come in and sit here and go through this crap. Because you're not going to do anything different for me, and nothing's going to change. I just paying it. I'd have just walked by, open your door, and throw some cash in and go home. Because you guys don't do nothing for me. You've done nothing. Nobody's ever changed anything. Not one doctor I've ever seen said, "Hey, I was doing some reading. You want to try this? Seems like it." Nothing. Nobody ever. Only ever changed my medication that I've been on for over 25 years. Once it wasn't controlling seizures anymore. But up until then, it's like, hey, they've come out with some new seizure medicines that are less, toxic, less invasive, type of stuff. No. These guys don't care at all. Kathy come home yesterday bitching, what is wrong with these doctors? My God. What is wrong with them? They just don't care about anything. I said, but getting paid. I said, they ain't gonna do nothing unless their name can be on something that can assure them they're gonna get paid. They won't touch you. They won't talk to you. They won't look at you. They won't even show up to that hospital when called unless they're gonna get paid. They know they're gonna get paid. They won't touch you. And, I don't know how many even these days in a life-threatening situation outside a hospital setting would touch you. But it's disheartening. Just the more we learn about how much they've lied about, how much they've taken from us and hidden that's beneficial to us, how much information they've suppressed, how they've changed the language to confuse us, how they've taken anything that's good and righteous and flipped it. It's bad. And bad is good. If you want to put on a thong, some leather, paint your hair purple, jump up half naked and dance on a flatbed in front of children, that's normal. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. You're living your truth. Go ahead. You want to go to the White House tranny and show your fake boobs? It's your truth. You go right ahead. You go right ahead. The liberals, communism / fascism / socialism / you name it. It feels like they all came together in a new kind of hybrid tyranny, dictator, communist ideology through our Democrats. Because it's like they've taken a little bit from everybody. They have no problem using the communist tactics of weaponizing the government. They have no problem with suppressing industry, picking winners and losers. They have no problem manipulating, tanking our currencies. They don't have any problem with that because they're up top. They're good. All the chaos, all the havoc, doesn't affect them. They're good to go. The peasants are hurting. They'll bounce back. They're tough. Like all our presidents have ever said, when shit's bad, we're the American people. We'll bounce back. You put up a barrier, we can't even bounce. We can't do anything. What do you mean we're supposed to bounce back? You're handcuffing us. It's that. And the more I think about it, the more I don't so much blame my parents and that generation or my grandparents and that generation, because all it was new. Everything was new. They didn't know to stop and go, wait a minute. You sure this is okay? You sure this is good? You know, and if you did, of course, you got the same thing as you get now, that appeal to authority, that appeal to power. We're the scientists. We know this. You know? We're doing the work. Trust us. I read a book made by another guy that said it's all good. I don't know myself. I haven't tested it myself, but by God, I know he was right. That's what's funny. Everybody in the past was right until they weren't. Wake and bake with you guys. That's what's crazy. So much science, whatever, development, industry, all that. Industry not. Because industry just works as it works. It's just what it is. But the science, the science, people like Tesla, people like Roy Raymond Rife, people like Schauberger. You seen that stuff about Schauberger? That dude is bad. He's the dude that he understood water. And water is so amazing. When you watch a deal like his about water, and you start to understand, and Dr. Cruz, stop it, Louis, God, Dr. Cruz, it hit him, and he was like, it's biblical. What was the first thing? Water. He divided the waters above from the waters below. What was second? Electricity, frequency. And he said, let there be light. First two things ever, water and electricity. Light, the building blocks of humanity. Without water, without light, there's no life. And water plays such a huge role. Our water is dead. The water we're drinking is dead. And Schauberger, I believe in the 20s, 30s, his solution to our water problems, and it's so simple, so simple. In every pipe, he invented this fin that you put inside your pipe that makes your water into a spiral. And when you do that naturally in nature, that's what a spiral's job is. When you see whirlpools, when you see rivers going, and then you see whirlpools, you see the water, the way it moves. All that is doing to purify and mature the water. And if communities had done what he said, he had patents on this stuff. If they'd done that with their city water supplies, you wouldn't need chlorine. You wouldn't need any kind of chemicals. You wouldn't need any chemicals. Like every house, your water as it comes in the house have that pipe, and so all your water spins when it gets to you. By the time it gets to the cup, to the glass, it's been freed of any particulates. You know, and if it's done that way from the source all the way, if it's spinning all the way, you're going to have the best water in the world. But they won't do it. It's right there. It's simple. When cities go back in and replace water lines, put a pipe in like that to spin our water. He said when water has to run in a straight line with no curves, no dips, nothing, it dies. As it's going, it just dies. Dead water. No good. No good for anything. No good for agriculture. That's why all those farms out in California using that water the way they have. That guy, I believe he said the nutritional value of food has gone way down. And then they came in and did GMOs, and that made it even worse. He has some great stuff in this video about how if you just treat the ground right in a simple way on farming, you won't need fertilizers and you don't need pesticides. but you just have to treat your water right. And he was showing a deal where he was visiting this. Where was he? I want to say South America or something. He was visiting this native uh, little town, I guess you'd call it. And he said he saw a farmer sitting in a big old bucket about this big of water. And he was sitting there stirring it one way, and then he'd stop and he'd stir it the other way, and he'd stir. Just sitting there stirring back and forth. I was watching him. I'm like, what are you doing? And they kind of interpreted, and he said, oh, he's preparing the water. For what? And he said, he's going to water his plants out here. So that ain't very much water. And he goes, well, you don't need it. And he says the guy takes the bucket of water and has a little whisk broom. So he just dips it in and just sprinkles it over the water. And the doctor said, after a few minutes, you could see the water kind of dried into a crystalline on top of the leaves and stuff, and fertilized and watered with just that little bit. He said, because the water, when he stirs it that way, matures the water. It's crazy. And the way he described, water, when it gets to your melanin, it splits the hydrogens away and makes a special barrier top deal, he said. Pretty cool stuff. And that it helps protect the mitochondria. And water, the way it communicates with the rest of our tissues and cells, is it goes into its fourth state. I don't know if y'all have seen anything about the fourth state of water, but that's pretty cool shit too. We'd always thought there were 3 states of water. I think I've talked about this level before. Solid, liquid, gas. But there's a 4th state that happens in nature, and water becomes like a gel, and that's how it transfers all its information to our cells, to our tissues. Hey Fred, what's up? Pretty crazy stuff. But if you want a new way of looking at things, you want a new way to approach your life, check out Dr. Jack Kruse, Kruse, Kruse. He said about our diets: saturated fats, lots of proteins. That's all we need. This whole stupid dieting deal, multi-billion-dollar diet industry, and nobody's losing weight. Nothing works. He made a good point that with all these thousands of diets out there, you'd think with something out of each one would have stumbled onto a diet that worked. Nope. Because it's all about our water. It's about our water, about our sunlight. If we don't get proper sunlight, we don't have a chance of even starting our metabolic process right, to having our cell health in good shape. We have to have it. It's the energy that our cells use. UV light, we got to have it. He said they found out with the astronauts, just being up there on the space station, floating around, that Scott Kelly has a twin brother, and that after Scott Kelly had been in space for 340 days, he came back and did tests and stuff on him, that he had basically aged like twice as fast as his brother. His mitochondria, his melanin, all kinds of stuff had lowered and changed and he was getting sick. He was not feeling well. And he says because he didn't get our filtered UV that's made for us. They say once you get up past that stratosphere part that's doing the filtering for us, it filters all the way down. And when you're up above it, and you don't get the UV, it makes you sick. You don't do well. And that's why so many people in America are sick. They stay indoors in front of computer screens, TVs, blue light all around them. They don't ever get any UV light. They don't ever, you know, drink good water, mature, healthy water. And that's another thing I don't understand. We understand enough now to have healthy water for everybody, but they won't do it. That's what's weird. They won't do it. They could, they just won't. Weird. Weird. Oh, Schauberger, that dude's amazing. Look him up. He's amazing. He even invented a plow that preserved the nutrients and stuff in the earth, and people wouldn't use it. He got discredited. He made a hand like shovel type thing to plant with that was coated with copper, had a copper deal on it, and said that improved the nutrients in the dirt. Every time you push that copper spade into the ground and lift it out, it deposits good bacterias and stuff and helps the soil. Pretty crazy stuff. But he patents all this stuff and nobody uses it because it works. Why wouldn't you use something that works? I mean, it's so crazy. But they don't let it out. They just don't let it out. They stifle it. They hinder it. They discredit it. But there's a lot of good shit out there. They just won't let us have it on purpose, I believe. Y'all do too. It's on purpose. Like Rockefeller said, I want a nation of workers, not thinkers. I don't need that. I'll do the thinking. You just do the working. And it's so hard to believe. Back then, when they were doing all this, there wasn't a counter or a big enough counter or a strong enough counter to them. They just got to run roughshod over us, just throwing stuff at us. And my grandparents and then my parents' heads were spinning. All this new stuff, all this crazy things going on, all the change. And the whole way being told they had no other source of information but the government. That newfangled radio, that newfangled TV thing, man. That's the only, newspapers. And we all know about Randolph Hearst and newspapers. That guy, the propaganda was heavy, man. Those newspapers that were going out. But we're here now. We gotta do something now, because they're just making us sicker. They're not gonna try and help. They're not helping at all. And everything's so corrupt now. It's just wow. It almost feels like we're in a movie now. Because it just, how do you write this stuff? These people are so fucking crooked. It's just wow. And have been for so long, and just keep gliding through life, getting richer, being more crooked, lying. And then they stand up there on TV and say, that guy's bad. That guy right there, he's a bad dude. Don't mess with him. Don't vote him. He'd kill y'all. It's amazing. It's just amazing. I'm the one that cares about you. I want you to do good. That's why I'm insisting your kindergarten children learn about homosexual sex early. They need to know this stuff. This is going to help them know who they are. All right, everybody. I guess that's about it for this morning. I just wanted to turn y'all on to Dr. Jack Kruse, Kruse. Check him out. He's pretty amazing. He's doing some good stuff. But all right, everybody. Love y'all. Good discernment. Good vibrations.